The Miami Hurricanes are already being linked to one of the top available receivers in the transfer portal. Here's why Trebor Pena might be the move.
You are Locked On Canes, your daily podcast on the Miami Hurricanes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I am Alex Donno, University of Miami alumnus, co-host of Locked On ACC, and writer for Canes County at Rivals. And thank you so much to the everydayers for making Locked On Canes your first listen and your first watch. We're available free wherever you get your podcasts. We're free on YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. So this morning, one of the better players I watched last season. I watched a lot of Syracuse, not just the time when they beat Miami, other times as well. I was very impressed with Syracuse receiver Trebor Pena. Reminded a lot of us of Xavier Restrepo, who's on his way to the NFL. And so since Miami is being linked to Pena, potentially, I'm seeing Miami and Texas Tech as the possible top two suitors for Pena. Even though, I watched Pena play a fair amount, but I wanted to lean on the expertise as to someone who knows a lot more about Trebor Pena and Syracuse than I do. And that's our very good friend, host of Locked On Syracuse, Jackson Holzer, who's nice enough to take some time. And so, Jackson, what was my Pena to Restrepo comparison? Is that on point? Talk about what type of a player this is.
I think it's pretty much on point. They're both slot receivers, and last year they were the two best slot receivers in the ACC, and you can make an argument they were two of the best slot receivers in the country in terms of production. Maybe not in terms of pure talent, but in terms of production, I think those were the two best. He's money. Like, I was on a podcast with Brian Smith, the host of the Portal podcast, and he asked me directly, like, can Trebor Pena be the missing piece for a team? Like a team where, are you a playoff team or are you not? Well, he can be your missing piece to get you into the playoff. If you're already a team that's going to make the playoff, he can be that next piece you need to win a national championship. He's really freaking good. This guy, particularly within 10 yards, last year he caught 90% of his targets within 10 yards. But it goes beyond that. Miami fans, sorry, I got to remind you all because this is a very bittersweet time where Trebor Pena's leaving and probably going to go to the Miami Hurricanes. I do have to remind you all that Syracuse did beat Miami at the end of last season. And one of those plays that helped Syracuse win was a 50-yard bomb to Trebor Pena in the third quarter where I tweeted out, is this guy Randy Moss? Like, he is a Swiss Army knife. He can pretty much do anything, but he is a premier slot receiver. And if you're looking for an Xavier Restrepo replacement, this is the guy you need to go out and get.
And this is something I'm getting a lot of mixed reactions on these links from Miami fans. The reason being Miami's next slot receivers in line are very popular among the fan base. Nathaniel Ray Joseph is someone that, Miami Edison guy, local, who, Miami fans have really high hopes for, just hasn't proven a whole lot on the field to this point. Part of that is behind Restrepo for the last 2 years. And true freshman Malachi Toney, who had an awesome spring, really dominated the spring game. So, when I bring up Trebor Pena, some people are like, this guy's a stud, go out and get him, Mario. Other people are like, hey, do we really want to kind of disturb the slot receiver ecosystem? I am of the mind that if you have an opportunity to bring in a player like this, who I believe makes the team better, makes the offense better, and drastically could raise Miami's ceiling at that spot. And also keeping in mind, Shannon Dawson, Miami's offensive coordinator, there's going to be an opportunity to rotate receivers and other guys will get a chance to play. I think the juice is worth the squeeze on this one. From a Miami point of view, do you agree? I think if you can bring in Trebor Pena, you bring him in.
I love this analogy. You have a proven commodity. You have a boat. Someone's going to give you a gift. You have a boat or you have a mystery box. You can choose. Which one would you choose, the mystery box or the boat?
I mean, some people might say maybe there's a boat inside the mystery
Yeah,
box.
maybe
No,
there's a
I'm
boat
taking the boat.
inside the mystery box because
I'm
you
taking the boat.
probably are not going to do much better than a gift that is a boat. Trevor
Yeah.
Pena last year, first of all, he's got one more year of eligibility remaining. So this is not actually, I
Yes.
think it would be even more. I think it would be even more appealing if he had multiple years because you could say, screw it, young guy, go enter the portal or go develop into more than just a slot guy because this guy was second team all ACC. How much better are you going to do than Trebor Pena? You are hoping that one of your young guys could get to the level where Trebor Pena is right now. He's available. You're a team with Carson Beck. How many years of eligibility does he have left?
Uno.
1 year. So you got to look at it as, I know it's Miami. They're going to reload no matter what. But you got to look at it as it is a 1-year season. You got one chance. If he's out there, which he is, go get the guy. Simple.
Yeah, and I think the point, and I was about to ask because I thought 1 year, but I wasn't sure. So he's got 1 year of eligibility left.
He's been in
That
college since
would
2020, so I'm going to
yeah.
assume 1 year.
Yeah, 1 year, 1 year, which would be, a lot less of a slight on like a Malachi Tony, who's a true freshman. Like he would have plenty of time, beyond Trebor Pena's time at Miami. So, this is, people always wonder about this. I mean, it's pretty obvious this time of year why a lot of guys hit the transfer portal. But I mean, what's been the talk in Syracuse about why Pena has decided to hit the portal? And were you expecting this or was it a shock?
It was a complete shock. You'll hear it on the ACC squad, which will air on Thursday. I had to check my phone to make sure it was not April 1st and that this was not some April Fool's Day joke. Trebor Pena was literally named one of like a team captain at an NIL event over the winter. Fran Brown, the head coach of Syracuse, was always touting how we have Trebor Pena. We have Trebor Pena coming back. At one point, he was like, our boy Pena is here. Because, Syracuse has lost a lot of players. They lost Rondé Gatson, Jackson Meeks, LaQuinn Allen, all those players. Kyle McCord's gone. All those guys that made Syracuse's offense amazing last year were all gone except for Trebor Pena. And we were all expecting, all right, he's coming back. We can all breathe a little sigh of relief. We have someone here who was here last year. Yeah, we got a young, inexperienced quarterback, but he's got a security blanket. Now he's gone. So why is he gone? Is it the role? No, he was going to be the starting slot receiver once again. You can make an argument he would have more opportunities now that those guys are gone because now he's the premier option of Syracuse's offense. Is his NFL draft stock going to take a hit if he stays at Syracuse because of bad quarterback play? I'm going to let you all in on a little secret. NFL teams are not that stupid. Okay, they know when a receiver's quarterback stinks. They know it. They don't care about his baseline numbers. They look at a player's traits and they look at his film as well in college. If the guy gets open and the quarterback throws it 4 feet over his head, they're not going to say, we got to take Trebor Pena off our draft board. Okay, so it's not the quarterback play. That's not why. It's not NFL draft. It comes down to one thing and one thing only, and it stinks, but it's the reality, and I don't blame Trebor Pena. It's the money. It's got to be the money because this is as good as he is a slot receiver. The NFL doesn't love drafting slot receivers particularly high. Best case, he's a 5th or 6th round pick, in which case it's very difficult to crack an NFL roster, very difficult to carve out an NFL career when you are a late round pick. He's probably going to be one of those players. Best case, he's out in the league in like 3 years. This is his opportunity to capitalize on his market value. This is his chance. And Syracuse was reportedly paying him pretty nicely. But guess what, Miami fans? Y'all got more money. And if you want to go get a player, you can come up with the money. So therefore, I think they outbid Syracuse. And it looks like they might get the player.
So Pena hit the portal on Tuesday morning. You and I are talking here on Tuesday evening. Again, Miami and Texas Tech have been the two and by the way, Texas Tech, it seems like they're spending a lot in the last couple of transfer portal cycles. So they've certainly like stepped up their NIL game. But at this moment, Jackson, do you think Miami's more likely the move or Texas Tech? How do you think this is going to go down?
I can't really comment on that because I don't know exactly what Texas Tech's roster is looking like. I do
That's a
know
good
for
point.
Miami,
Yeah.
it makes a lot of sense. You don't have Xavier Restrepo anymore. I don't care about any young guy on your team. When Trebor Pena is available, who was the second best slot receiver in the conference last year, and I think you just got to go get the guy. I think it's going to be Miami. Texas Tech has a lot of money too. Whoever offers him the most money, how about that? That's probably where he's going to end up.
Yeah.
Whoever offers him the most money.
Yeah. And you raise a good point. And by the way, I think it was Gabby Urrutia at Inside the U that brought this up, that that in the case of Malachi Tony, that Trebor Pena for 1 year could be a nice bridge to that for Tony, who's a true freshman.
Absolutely. And who's the other guy?
Ray Joseph.
How long has Ray Joseph been with Miami?
2 seasons. I think he just finished his second year.
Guess what? If Ray Joseph was this, he might be really good. He might prove me wrong. But if he was so freaking good, you know what's the beauty of it is that it'll all take care of itself.
Right.
It'll all take care of itself. You're good
100%.
enough. You'll play.
Yeah.
This is not a quarterback. There's only one. See, in a quarterback, you can get stuck with a scenario here where you have Joe Burrow as a backup and there's no path for him playing. So he transfers from Ohio State and goes to LSU. That can happen. Receivers? Teams have boatloads of wide receivers. If you're good enough, you'll play. Simple as that. This guy's already been in college for 2 years. He hasn't done enough. Trebor Pena, second team All ACC. Bring him in. It makes too much sense.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah, and by the way, if you want more of that, because Jackson does an awesome job, make sure you check out Locked On Syracuse, and also check him out on the Locked On ACC squad with us. And also, usually, if ever I have to miss a Locked On ACC, Jackson usually fills in for me with Kenton. So he is all over the network, and he does a fantastic job. So check out Locked On Syracuse. Make sure you check out Locked On Canes. Both of our shows are here with you each and every day. And we'll talk to you guys next time on another episode of Locked On Canes. We are part of the awesome Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.